Hey, this is Dave back here on the How to Podcast series. I'm having some fun with some AI. And playing with a thing called Chat GPT. Now, you're like, what are you talking about, Dave? This is a pretty interesting program that you can basically ask a question and Chat GPT will give you an answer. So on Google, if you type in what is bacon, you will get an answer about bacon. But on Chat GPT, it doesn't just give you a link to more information about bacon. It actually creates content around bacon, and you can ask it anything. Best way to cook bacon. Where does bacon come from? And it will create actual answers as if somebody's talking to you. And it's a little freaky, but it's a great beginning point for creating content ideas. Creating content ideas. Not creating your content so that you don't have to put any effort in, just to caution you. So some people are jumping on this as a speeding train, thinking I can game the system and not have another thought in my life, and I can go back to watching Netflix while my computer creates my podcast. A word of warning about that slippery slope. Your audience is coming to hear from you. And, So I wanted to try it out. I've been playing with it a little bit, and, there's some definite benefits if you're stuck and you're like, what am I going to talk about this week on my podcast? You can ask it some questions, and it feeds you some pretty interesting info. You might want to just double, triple check anything that's a fact or a percent or a whatever, a stat. You might want to just make sure before you send this out into the world. But if you're looking for just a general topic idea, maybe some things that would spark some creativity for you. If you are stuck, go over and give it a try. There'll be links in the show notes. Still go give it a try. At this point, it's free. And kick the tires and see what you think. Again, it's a little freaky. But I wanted to play with it. And the idea was I want to start a monthly hangout on Zoom for about 40 minutes. Once a month, the first Friday of the month. And it's going to be, at this point, that's what I'm going to start with, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, so New York, Toronto time zone. And I have a calendar link for this, which I'll include in the show notes. And my only request is that you are either thinking about starting a podcast, you have started a podcast, or you are a podcast guru that can come on and have a conversation together. And I've been doing this with other content creators, and I find them to be a lot of fun, so I wanted to start one. And again, the idea will be we'll have a theme for the day. We will go through that theme together for a short opening, and then open it up for any questions. We'll take a few questions in the group, and you can quietly just participate and listen if that's what you want to do. You don't have to speak, or do anything. You don't even have to turn your camera on. It's just, you can just be there. That's great. I would love to have you there. If you want to activate your camera and jump into the conversation, awesome. And then at the end, what I'd like to do is whoever feels they want to can share about their podcast, and they can ask anyone if they need a guest for their show or they want to be a guest. And we'll just go like a round table, round robin thing, and everyone can kind of jump in and share a little bit about what they're doing, and we can encourage each other. So that's the idea. So the first Friday morning, first Friday of the month, and we're going to look at the 10 a.m. time slot to start. And then, judge it by there. Maybe we have friends around the world and that's not a good time slot for you. Then maybe we'll open it up and try a different one. Right now, for me, I am working nights. So I come home in the morning and that works for me before I go to bed after working in a whole night shift. So that's kind of what works around my calendar. So it'll be a little selfish as the host. That's what I can offer right now, but I will open it up in the future. So what happened is I went to Chat GPT and I just asked it about building community as podcasters and what that looks like. And then I asked it more specifically within Chat GPT. Question number 2 was, how do we do this in a Zoom meeting for podcasters? And it gave me a response. So instead of me reading the response, I have 2 friends joining me from a website that gives me computer-generated voices. And I was using these on my Daily Santa podcast, this website, to create voices so that I could have different voices on my podcast. That was a podcast I did in December, 25 episodes in a row to count down to Christmas with the idea of helping kids be better humans. So I created that whole podcast around that. And I used this website, and I'm going to use the same website here. And the voices from this, so it's a little weird, right? The voices from this computer-generated voice website are going to give you the answer from this other website, Chat GPT, around my question of, hey, how do we build community as podcasters? And then how do we do that on a Zoom call? So this should be interesting. So I'm along for the ride with you here as well. I'll come back and summarize the response that I got to my question on Chat GPT and add a little bit of flavor to it. But here is exactly what Chat GPT said via the voice of a computer-generated voice. Wow, we're living in the future. And the future's so bright, you got to wear shades. Here we go. Here's my answer to my question about building community for podcasters, and then specifically through a Zoom meeting, all via Chat GPT and a computer-generated set of voices. Okay. Here we go. Hope you enjoy.
This is Freddie, your AI voiceover guy, here to assist in this episode of the How to Podcast series. You can find a wide variety of voices just like mine on voicemaker.in. This portion of today's episode was generated by Chat GPT. GPT stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer, and this is a chatbot launched by OpenAI. Dave asked Chat GPT, why is building community important in podcasting? Here is my co-host Jessica with Chat GPT's response to Dave's question. Over to you, Jessica.
Thank you, Freddie. Hello, How to Podcast series family. Building a community around your podcast can be beneficial for a number of reasons. First and foremost, having a community of listeners can help to build a sense of loyalty and engagement with your show. When listeners feel like they are part of a community, they are more likely to continue listening to your podcast and to recommend it to others. Additionally, having a community can provide a source of feedback and ideas for future episodes. This can help to keep your content fresh and relevant, and can also help to ensure that you are meeting the needs and interests of your listeners. Finally, a strong community can serve as a source of support and encouragement, which can be especially important if you are just starting out as a podcaster.
Thank you, Jessica.
Okay, so how are you feeling so far? That was my initial question to Chat GPT. Thank you to my 2 voice over computer helpers. I don't feel so alone recording a podcast with another voice to help me out. 2 voices. So I'll have links in the show notes for all the things I'm using, all the tools. But I just thought I'd share, this is how Chat GPT spits out an answer. I didn't edit that at all. I just copied it and pasted it into the voice program to create the voices to read it out to you. That's exactly word for word from Chat GPT. So I went a little bit deeper. This, by the way, is Dave. This is not a computer voice. This is me and all my weirdness. So now I went deeper into Chat GPT and I asked further a more clarifying question as it relates to creating a monthly Zoom meeting where we could get together and build community. And I asked Chat GPT about it, and here's what came back to our computer voices for some more fun. Here you go.
Dave went a step further and asked Chat GPT to apply this information to a group Zoom call. Dave asked Chat GPT the following: how do we do this on a Zoom group chat? Here is Jessica again, with Chat GPT's response.
There are several ways that you can build community within a Zoom group chat. 1. Encourage participation. Encourage group members to ask questions, share their thoughts, and engage in discussions. 2. Foster a sense of inclusivity. Make sure that everyone feels welcome and valued within the group. 3. Be responsive. Be sure to respond to questions and comments in a timely manner, and encourage other group members to do the same. 4. Encourage sharing. Encourage group members to share resources, recommendations, and other relevant information with one another. 5. Create a sense of belonging. Help group members feel like they are part of a shared experience by using in-jokes, inside jokes, and other shared experiences. 6. Plan regular events. Consider organizing regular events or activities, such as virtual happy hours or book clubs, to help build a sense of community within the group. 7. Make it fun. Find ways to make the group chat enjoyable and engaging for all participants. By following these tips, you can help to create a sense of community and belonging within your Zoom group chat.
Thanks Chat GPT for creating this portion of the podcast. You can access Chat GPT at openai.com. And if you need a voice for your podcast, join myself and other amazing voices at voicemaker.in. Back to you, Dave.
Okay, so that was the deeper part of asking the question and going a little deeper and applying it to a Zoom meeting where we can be together, and what does it mean to have community for podcasters, and how can I do that in a Zoom meeting? So that was, again, unedited, right from Chat GPT into the voice program that read it to you without any edits at all. I didn't touch it at all. That's exactly the way it came to me. So this is a little, I guess, in a way, progress, but in a way, kind of a regression, maybe a little bit, where I've actually heard of people who use this program and create a course and then sell it as if they made the course. So a word of caution, again, about this program and how it's going to be used. I heard another podcaster talk about this as well, and they were kind of making it akin to a superhero can use their superpowers for good or for evil. Let's use this for good if you choose to use this. But so the idea behind this was to play, and thank you for letting me play, and I appreciate that. Hopefully I didn't annoy you with all of that. The other part of this is to talk about the fact that I am setting up a monthly Zoom meeting, and it is open to you, because I'm putting this at the end of the podcast. That's how I do this, so that you can reach out and send me a message and go to the website, and there'll be a link to the monthly Friday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time meeting on Zoom, where if there's one person shows up, or if there's 10 or whatever, awesome. Let's chat about podcasting, and then as well answer any questions. There'll be a topic of the day, and we can then go around and just share our podcast with each other and promote and get feedback and encouragement from each other on our podcast journey. So if you've never recorded an episode, you're invited. If you have podcast episodes out and you're new, you've been doing this forever and you're a guru, an expert, welcome, welcome, welcome. And we're going to do this again at 10 a.m. on the first Friday of the month. We're going to start it out, see how it goes. If we get a good response or we have requests for a different time slot, we'll try to do something to accommodate as many people as possible. So thank you for, letting me share this. So let's just go over a few things that Chat GPT did say, and I'll just kind of throw my spice on it as well. So number 1 was encourage participation, encourage group members to ask questions, share their thoughts, and engage in discussions. That's pretty well what this idea is. This is why I want to do this monthly get-together. I just would love to be able to offer some encouragement to you, to get you unstuck, to motivate you. That's the idea behind it. Number 2 was to foster a sense of inclusivity, to make sure that everyone feels welcome and valued in the group. I've been in groups and been the fly on the wall because it is overrun by the host's favorite people, and they seem to give them preference, and new people don't seem to be welcome. It's kind of like grade 9. If you remember grade 9 and wandering through the hallways trying to find your class, and then you're in a classroom and you're like, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to be here. I've been in Zoom meetings like that, and the host will gush over their favorites in the class, and the others are just ignored. That's not what I want to do. I want to be able to talk to everyone and have everyone feel included. So please come and join our little monthly Zoom meeting. Number 3 was to be responsive. Be sure to respond to questions and comments in a timely manner, and encourage the group members to do the same. So that's the idea. It's not about coming to get for this monthly get-together. It's coming to give. And I think if you come to give, if I come to give, there's not this feeling of I'm just here to get and leave. Let's come to give. Okay, come to give. Number 4 was to encourage sharing. Encourage group members to share resources, recommendations, and other relevant information with one another. We come at this with different perspectives. We come at this podcasting thing with different tools, different abilities. We're at a different stage. And let's not say that there's one way to do everything. Again, a lot of podcasters do this. I find it quite annoying. And when they talk down to people because they don't fit in the box that they've created as what is the ideal podcast hosting group, method, microphone, all that stuff. They seem to belittle people and mock them. And that is the difference between what I would say the American Idol approach of podcasting, where you have 3 judges, compared to The Voice version of podcasting, where you have 4 coaches. Would you rather be judged or would you rather be coached? And I find a lot of coaches are too judgmental, and they dismiss you if you don't fit into their mold. And that is a problem, because that will cripple your audience and make people leave. Come to this Zoom meeting, and I promise you that we will not make fun. We will not ridicule. It's a safe place to come and ask questions without being judged, as you will if you go on a Facebook group and ask a question. Watch out, because people will come from every direction for you. That is not what this is going to be. I promise you that. Okay? Okay. So encourage sharing. 5, create a sense of belonging. Help group members feel like they're a part of a shared experience. Inside jokes, other shared experiences. I would love to be able to create a safe space for you to belong. Whether you come for one and never come back, thank you. If you come every month, awesome. I want to create a safe space for you and make sure you're respected. 6, plan regular events. Easy. We're going to try with 1 a month to start. We'll grow as we need to with your suggestions. Thank you. Always open to that. Make it fun. Find ways to make the group chat more enjoyable, engaging for all participants. We're going to do that. Any ideas you have, I'd love to hear from you as well. So that's the idea. So head over to the website, howtopodcast.ca, not .com. That's someone else. howtopodcast.ca. It's a Canadian website, so I have that because I'm a Canadian. Whoa, yeah. Go over to howtopodcast.ca. Links in the show notes, and it'll take you to our page. There'll be information there about our Zoom meeting. There'll be information about the podcast, about me, all that stuff. And I would love to connect with you. Thank you for being part of the How to Podcast series. I so hope and wish to see you on our first Zoom meeting, which will happen in February, first Friday morning of February. And come join us. Come kick the tires. See if this helps and see if this serves you. And I would love to hear your feedback on what you'd love to see in there. Head over to the website. You can leave me a voice message on SpeakPipe, and I would include that in my podcast. So no matter where you are in the world, I would love to hear from you. Thank you. Enjoy your podcasting journey. More great episodes coming up, more topics, and a lot more. Again, I've heard some requests, people asking me to get back into some of the real practical how-to parts of podcasting as you set up your podcast. More of that stuff is to come. I have to jump now to an interview, pre-interview call. So I will catch you on the next episode of the How to Podcast series. Let's get out there and share your message. Thanks for being here. See you.